Hello, class. Today we're diving into some more folklore because I just can't simply get enough of it. Today we are going back to the lands of Scandinavia, specifically to the land of Norway. So, get comfy, get cozy, gather around the fire, and today we will be talking about the horrific tale of Draugen. Now, you may be confused by that name and think, aren't I speaking of perhaps the Draugr, the sort of Norse mythology zombies that are often made as enemies in various Nordic related games like Skyrim and the new Norse mythology based God of War games, of course. And while this creature is somewhat similar, he is a different beast altogether. You see, just like you and I, Draugen started as a regular person, a sailor, in fact, sailing out to sea, most likely as part of his profession, though the specific reasons are quite lost to time. We aren't sure if perhaps he was a Viking of old, or a trader of some sort, or perhaps he just simply liked to sail. We aren't quite sure. However, what is known for sure is that one day, while out at sea, he faced a rather grim fate. He was dragged down to the depths in a mighty storm, his boat torn asunder, and his body forced down into the bottom of the sea, where he eventually drowned and perished. Now, similarly to the Draugr, his fate did not end here, for it is said that he is now a creature of hulking size, covered in seaweed, smelling and reeking of decayed flesh and corpses, with a look that is quite similar to that of a Draugr who has perhaps been drowned at sea for many a millennia. Now, you might be wondering what such a horrifying creature does. Well, I suppose that you can probably think of what such a horrifying creature would do given his origin story. It's said that when he comes to your ship, most likely during a fierce, dark storm across the sea, that you will hear the distant rowing of oars, a reeking smell of an unholy combination of the Atlantic Ocean and death itself. And then you will hear a horrendous, blood-curdling scream as a massive figure rises up out of the ocean itself and comes to claim your vessel as well as your life as it drags you down to the bottom of the sea, never to be seen again. And it is said that the last thing that anyone would hear of you is only your own horrified scream. Now, we do actually have a quite interesting tale of a survivor of Draugen. It was said that this tale actually took place on land, hinting that perhaps even on coastal towns that are beheld by storms aren't safe from him. For it is said that this man witnessed Draugen rise up out of the sea, and he ran into a nearby church, and as he did, he begged and he pleaded the spirits of the dead there buried at that church to please aid him to save his life from Draugen. He stayed in that church that entire night, and when he went back out the next day, all the caskets had been opened, and seaweed covered the entirety of grounds of the church. Now, as to why this specifically happened to this particular sailor, we don't know. And by the particular sailor, I mean Draugen himself. Obviously, unfortunately, many people throughout history have been lost to sea, drowned, or had their ships torn asunder, or attacked by predators. A great many things have happened, but it is quite interesting that only this specifically happened to himself. Perhaps he has a similar case to the Draugr, where he was a particularly greedy man in his life, and specifically since he was lost to sea itself, that it had a play in him coming back as such a water-based horrific creature. Perhaps he did something to anger the Norse god Njord himself, the god of the sea, and that specifically brought on this grim fate to him. Well, perhaps an evil Norn, the god of fate, just simply decided to play him a grim hand. We don't know. Perhaps we'll never know. But next time you find yourselves sailing in the waters off the coast of Norway, be wary of any storms. And if you happen to smell the horrific, unholy combination of the sea and corpses, then may the gods have mercy on you. But what do you all think of this? Do you think there's any merit to this, or do you think it's just a bit of old folklore in order to warn people of traveling out to sea during dangerous weather? Be sure to let me know what you all think. But be sure to extinguish the fire on your way out. And until next time.